Disclaimer! The following is a review/parody for comedy and entertainment purposes, and I don't own any of the clips shown. The copyright of Sonic the Hedgehog doesn't belong to me. This will probably be a long review, so I hope you're ready to go no stops on this ride. Well, I asked, and most of you said yes. So it's time to dive into one of the more popular Sonic games. And this game is popular for all the wrong reasons. This is Sonic the Hedgehog from 2006 on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, but I'm gonna stick to calling it Sonic 06. Sonic 06 wasn't originally going to be a Sonic game. It was going to be a new IP using a realistic environment and making good use of the Havoc physics engine. Sega thought of this about a month or two before the release of Sonic Heroes from 2003 on the GameCube, PlayStation 2, and original Xbox. As the years went by, Sega still couldn't really think of anything, and after the release of Shadow the Hedgehog in 2005 with some negative reviews, they decided that they would make a brand new Sonic game on next-gen hardware and reboot the series. The Xbox 360 version was released November 14th, 2006 in North America, November 24th, 2006 in Europe, November 30th, 2006 in Australia, December 21st, 2006 in Japan. The PS3 version was released the same date as the 360 in Japan, January 30th, 2007 in North America, and March 23rd, 2007 in the PAL region. But the thing is about the game being released is that it was rushed in order to meet the 15th anniversary deadline. I love how people complain about 06 and Rise of Lyric being rushed since they don't like those games, yet they forget about SA1 being rushed because, oh, that's the best 3D Sonic game ever, all thanks to some Call Me Johnny changing people's opinions. I have nothing against Johnny. Heck, he's my favorite reviewer, but I don't like how his reviews get people to change his minds about certain games. But more about that another time. Sonic 06 was universally panned as one of the worst games of all time, and still is. Games Radar put it number 6 on their list of the top 10 worst games of all time. And YouTubers such as PewDiePie and ClementJ64 did videos saying that it's the worst game ever. But is it really that bad? Well, let's find out what I think. I'll start off with that plot as always. This will take a while due to how descriptive I can be sometimes. This game is again divided into multiple storylines. One for Sonic, one for Shadow, another for Silver, and an unlockable final story that puts a conclusion to the game in which you get for completing all the 3 Hedgehogs stories. Despite playing as Sonic first, the story actually starts off with Silver in his destroyed home in the future, Crisis City. By the way, you could check out my fan-made Sonic Forces music for Crisis City if you want. The link will be in the description. Back to the story. Blaze the cat shows up and tells Silver that Iblis has appeared again. No, this isn't her canon backstory. She's actually a princess from another dimension. Sonic Rush is the canon incarnation of the character. I always assumed that Blaze in this game was an alternate version of the character, but I'll move on now. The two of them go to defeat Iblis, and Silver wonders what the point of all this is, if he's just gonna keep coming back no matter how many times they put that thing on a leash. So this hedgehog named Mephiles tells him that in order to save his future, he has to kill the individual that caused this to happen. He shows Silver a Chaos Emerald which projects an image of who it is, and it's none other than Sonic. But the thing is, he's dead. So in order to do this, they all travel back in time to find him. Of course, they do exactly that, but when it happened, they all got separated in the process. Silver and Blaze try to find each other and the Iblis trigger, but no luck. That night, the Festival of the Sun is happening in Soliana, with Princess Elise being the star of the show. The festival is to worship their sun god, which will be discussed more later on. Eggman decides to crash the party because Elise has a blue Chaos Emerald. All the commotion catches Sonic's attention, so he intervenes and turns all of Eggman's mechs into a pile of junk, grabs Elise, and skyrockets out of there. Not only did this catch Sonic's attention, but Silver gets sight of the action as well. Sonic gets distracted with a few more robots, and while he's dealing with them, Eggman successfully grabs Elise, but since he's after the emerald, Elise throws it to Sonic, and Eggman retreats into his egg carrier from SA1. But instead of chasing after it, Sonic waits until the next day to do such actions. Why doesn't he just do it now? There are two possible ways of catching up with the ship. A, he could just run after it, or B, he could do what he does in SA1, the Sonic X anime, and this game, which would be jump off all those buildings to reach the ship. And that's a bit of an issue. Every Sonic game prior to this puts you straight into the action. In SA1 you get the cutscene with the police trying to nab Chaos, and after the cutscene Chaos doesn't escape, Sonic jumps down and fights him. In SA2 he jumps right out of a helicopter and you're in City Escape running away from the police. In Heroes, you get that letter from Eggman where he says, "Whoa, ha, 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 I'm going to use my weapon to conquer the world in 3 days. Come stop me!" So Sonic takes the letter as an invitation to a party, and zoom, it's time for Seaside Hill, which I don't care what anyone says, Seaside Hill is still the best Green Hill clone. Lastly, in Shadow the Hedgehog, you get the opening cutscene and Black Doom tells you to collect all the Chaos Emerald. So he goes straight after those bad boys in Westopolis. A level with a battle between the Black Arms and GUN is taking place, and a whole bunch of lasers coming out of nowhere and turn the city into ashes. Sonic 06 didn't do any of this. You're just placed into a hub world to walk around and talk to NPCs. But I digress. Silver attempts to chase after Sonic, but Amy confuses him for Sonic, and due to this, he loses sight of him. I guess this happened because it was one of those, we need this thing to happen so that it will cause another thing to happen type of deals. But Amy apologizes for this, and Amy is looking for Sonic too. So she says Silver will help her look for Sonic, and in return, she'll help Silver with whoever he's looking for, but she doesn't know that he's looking for Sonic. During the same night, I assume, Shadow is sent to find one of their agents in Eggman's base. Hey, look, you could say that the whole expert mode from Shadow's own game is canon, but remember, this game is a reboot. I don't know why so many people forget that. Shadow rescues the agent, and it turns out it's none other than Rouge the Bat, and she has the Scepter of Darkness. Wait a second. You give that thing back to Darkness the Curse right now. Speaking of which, that guy reviewed 06 4 times. Do you want to do it 06 times? The two of them are interrupted by a few of Eggman's robots, and his, I guess you can call, guard dog. After defeating it, they just randomly teleport into some area right outside of Eggman's base. Literally, it's right outside of his base. You could go in this room during gameplay in the Soliana New City Hub. Rouge asks Shadow to escort her to the GUN rendezvous point in Kingdom Valley. Just like Sonic, they do it the next day. And speaking of Sonic, that's what happens next. Sonic meets up with Tails and Soliana, and he assists Sonic with the rescue. After catching up with the egg carrier, Tails claims that Elise has been taken somewhere else, and she's not in the ship. 2 things. 1, how do you know that? And 2, why did you tell us this earlier? So they leave Eggman alone and go back to Soliana. They find Elise in a desert outside of Soliana, and Eggman sets another guard dog after him. How many of those does he even have? Silver's the only one that doesn't fight the Egg Cerberus, which, that's his name. After defeating it, the 3 go outside, and of course, The robots are after them.
How long is this gonna go on?
Good question. We're only 17 minutes into these 2-hour cutscenes. And I gotta thank the real Sonic fan for uploading the '06 cutscene in chronological order. That's how I'm summing up the plot like this. I still play through the story myself, but I'm watching that video so I could talk about the plot in order. As I was saying, Sonic grabs Elise and Tails goes to distract the robots. And this cutscene lags in the 360 version, but they fixed that in the PS3 version. And if you want to know if the PS3 version has a better frame rate than the 360, the answer is no. The 360 version runs at a smooth 60 frames per second with your occasional frame rate drop, but nothing major. While the PS3 version can't decide whether it wants to be 30 or 10 frames per second most of the time, especially in the following levels: Dusty Desert, Tropical Jungle, and Crisis City. While they're doing that, Amy and Silver are in Dusty Desert too, and they head inside to find Sonic. With no luck because they bailed the inside already. And yeah, there's a temple located in the middle of the desert. That's where the fight with the egg servers happened, and where Silver and Amy are going now. Getting back to Sonic, he takes Elise into the Windows XP wallpaper. Okay, running joke is dead now. Elise notices that Sonic is hurt, and Sonic just says it's nothing. And you bet it's nothing. I don't see anything. He asks about the Flames of Disaster, aka Endless, and questions if that's why Eggman is after her, and she explains that that's their sun god. They just run around for a bit, and Sonic tells her that if you have time to worry, then run. I would explain why this is a bad line, but some call me Johnny. Please do it for me.
If you got a severe amount of college bills in your mailbox, well, you can run, sure, but when you get back to your house, the college bills will still be there. That's a terrible lesson. I have no...